Peace and welcome to our top 10 Yuzo Koshiro themes. I have been listening to a lot of his music recently, and then along the fact with the release of Streets of Rage 4 that has even more of his music, I got inspired and wanted to do this episode. Plus the fact he is one of my favorite game music composers. We will limit it to one track per game. Besides that, the only other guideline is he must compose and arrange the theme. So with no further delay, our top 10 Yuzo Koshiro theme songs. Number 10, Streets of Rage 4, the main theme. The newest game on our list. The game is not even 2 weeks old as of writing this. Released on April 30th, 2020, Yuzo had a limited amount of tracks on Streets of Rage 4, and there are at least 10 composers that helped on this soundtrack in some form. But I am still glad to see him return in any capacity. He did the entire Streets of Rage 1 soundtrack, along with most of Part 2 and most of Part 3. This particular theme was written by Koshiro, with many guest features playing different instruments. I found a video that Yuzo shared, and you can see each instrument on the theme being played. If you are on Twitter and like gaming music, I recommend following him, as he shares a lot of interesting behind-the-scenes style videos about his music. Number 9, Castlevania, Portrait of Ruin. The gears go awry. This one speaks for itself. It sounds exactly like I imagine a Castlevania theme. It has the dark, gloomy feel with an organ front and center. You might think Koshiro and Castlevania might not be a good mix, as he is known for club, techno, and dance-style music. While Castlevania is gothic, dark, and basically medieval. And if you do think that, let me present to you Exhibit A that says otherwise. I think Koshiro has an incredible talent for changing up his style and catering to match the game. And as we go through this top 10, I am confident that a lot of people will see the vast amount of styles that Koshiro has in that brain of his. Number 8, the Stickman is back. In the Mountain. This theme is from an unreleased Sega Genesis game. There is no footage as well as no proof about the game. The only thing that was released is the music. You can find all of the themes from this game on the Second Early Collection, a CD released in 1998 that contains the music from 3 games: Slap Fight, the GG Shinobi, and of course, the Stickman is back. I think this theme has the feel of his automated software that he used in Streets of Rage 3. The piano sounds a bit random at times. As almost always, he did a great job producing a theme that doesn't sound like it's from a Sega Genesis. He masks that Genesis twang and manages to choose the right instruments for a good sound. This theme has a certain hip-hop feel to it with the percussions, just another genre that you can add to his resume. Number 7. Streets of Rage, The Good Ending. One of the slower themes on our list today. It has a calming feel, a nice, cool, and easy groove that is easy to chill to. This might not be the style of song you think when you think of Streets of Rage music, but yet again, Yuzo shows off his variation in styles. It's almost a shame that people only think about his techno-style music, because I think the one thing that helps him stand apart from other composers is his ability to change genres at will. I know a lot of composers who would love to be able to do just that. It's not always as easy as he makes it out to be. Number 6. Sonic the Hedgehog, Bridge Zone. From the 8-bit versions of Sonic on the Master System and Game Gear, it may sound like Full House and it may sound like Janet Jackson, but growing up and playing this game, this theme stood out to me. Not the Masato soundtrack of Sonic 1 and 2, but Yuzo did a great job standing on his own. He didn't just take Masato's tunes and redo them. He had his own ideas and executed them well. I think 8-bit Sonic needed the talents of a person like Yuzo, so there wouldn't be any drop-off in quality from the 16-bit versions. He is a terrific composer, and he has close ties with Sega, so he was the perfect person for the job. Number 5. Streets of Rage 2, Go Straight. Of course, you know we needed a track from Streets of Rage 2, quite possibly the best soundtrack in the entire series. I like it a little bit more than the first one, a lot more than the third one, and the fourth one doesn't have that many tracks by Koshiro. This is a great theme for a beat-em-up game. It has the energy and the excitement that gets you ready for a session of beating up bad guys. There are a bunch of really good themes on the soundtrack, but this one out and not by much. It was a close call. Unlucky number 4, ActRaiser, the Overworld theme, Birth of the People. A mellow track that almost has a Renaissance feel at first, it reminds me of some Record of Lodoss War. I could see this playing in the mess hall as the knights celebrate a victory. We had ActRaiser narrow down to 2 themes, with the other being Fillmore. I was already leaning towards this Overworld theme, then I ran it by our patrons, and Bear Sona said the Overworld also. I can understand why one would choose Fillmore. It's an epic theme and jams from beginning to end. However, Birth of the People has a certain depth to it. It's not the most complicated beat in the world, but the feeling of it really resonates. Number 3. The Revenge of Shinobi, Chinatown. So in my opinion, this theme is one of his more underrated tracks. He has a little influence there from the Asian riff, but he also took it to the next level and made it an action-packed theme. I dare say this is the perfect theme for any stage set in China or Chinatown. It has a sense of purpose and keeps the player immersed into the game. I'm not sure if he's the first composer to have his name on the title screen, but I can't think of any other musician who has ever managed that. Not only does he lead the way in chiptunes, but he brought full-on attention to the music in gaming. The man deserves respect, even if only for that. Number 2. Seventh Dragon 2020, with the squad of 13 Murakumo. So when we talk about his wide range of themes, this is a good example. I have heard people trying to make hip-hop beats and not even come close to this. If he put together 15 beats like this, he could have a hit record. This slow jam would be good to relax and chill to. Have a long day at work, throw this on, kick back, and forget about your problems. I could hear this in something like Samurai Champloo, and that says a lot because one of my all-time favorite composers did a good portion of the music. Up next, we have a few honorable mentions. And I usually don't talk about them, but there is one that I want to talk about just a little bit. The Sega Genesis Mini menu music. So our rules say he must compose as well as arrange the theme. The menu music is actually a compilation of about 10 different Sega Genesis games, including Sonic, Echo, Gunstar Heroes, Phantasy Star 4, and more. He didn't write the original themes, but this arrangement deserves to be mentioned, even if it breaks our rules. Number 1. Etrian Odyssey, Blue and White. Now certain beats and certain songs instantly click, and as soon as I heard this, I already liked it. To me, this is one of those themes. The first time I heard it, I couldn't help but nod my head and think, but of course it's good. It's Yuzo Koshiro, a Grandmaster status chiptune artist. There may be some composers as good, but very few and far in between that are better. And that all just comes down to opinion anyways. To some people, I am sure he is their favorite, and I completely understand why. Koshiro has been playing the piano since he was 3 years old, learning from his mother and later on one of the all-time greats. his teacher, known as the John Williams of Japan, Joe Hisaishi. I always learned something doing these top 10s, and this time I learned just how vast his range really is. He is the true definition of a composer, and someone who has been on the top of his game for nearly 3 decades. So there you have the uncanny top 10 Koshiro themes. Sorry to any Streets of Rage 3 fans, OST just doesn't do it for me, and his resume is so jam-packed with hits that it was easily pushed out of the top 10. The thing that stands out to me the most after listening to almost every theme he has composed, the man can make any genre and on any console. Whether it's some techno on the Genesis or some hip-hop on the PSP. If he wanted to, he could compose beats for MCs, R&B singers, or pretty much anyone else he wanted to. Last but not least, shout out to the people who make this possible, our gold level patrons, Bearsona 11 and Quantum X. I am ICC, thanks for watching, peace.